Hello, and welcome to my talk on cryptocurrency exchanges and Darknet markets. I'm pwrcycle, and if you missed this, you can catch this later at arrowmesh.com/cryptocurrency. So, a couple of the big exchanges that deal in cryptocurrency are Coinbase, Poloniex, Kex, Kraken, Bitfinex, Bittrex, Bitstamp, Bitstamp. Um, the top exchanges actually change over time depending on what laws are in effect, what new exchanges have opened up in new countries. Um, but for the most part, especially for U.S. citizens, the exchanges are going to operate rather similarly. The biggest thing is that the uh, exchanges will require detailed registration to satisfy KYC and AML, which is Know Your Customer and anti-money laundering. Um, you can't talk about exchanges without kind of talking about the counterpoint to exchanges, which is peer-to-peer, face-to-face. A couple of the big players or locations in this are something like local Bitcoins, where there's a website you can find someone who's in your local city that wants to trade one side or the other. You contact them, there's an escrow, they make the exchange. There's also direct via IRC. You can just talk to people around the world, and if they're local to you, maybe make your own arrangements. There's another called shapeshift.io, which will do cryptocurrency exchanges for you, which I'll talk about in a little bit. Or as I said, just face to face, so long as any two people have keys for cryptocurrency wallets, they can make the exchange themselves with no one else involved. Um, but back to exchanges themselves. To satisfy the Know Your Customer and anti-money laundering statutes, which are United States law, um, but they're generally agreed to and enforced by most of the other financially um, or large financial countries. So something similar to this, they usually carry the same three initials. These were particularly put in force right after 9/11. But what an exchange is going to require of a U.S. citizen is basically some very good proof that they are who they say they are by the means of something as a recent utility bill, a government issued photo ID. Usually it's taking a photo of this ID. And then it can even include a photo of yourself holding something unique as a handwritten note with words that the exchange themselves gave you. Um, these are the means of which the exchange is going to verify what IP address, what person, to the best of their ability, who this account is tied to. um, Once you have satisfied these requirements and set up an account with an exchange, it then becomes a simple matter of wiring money from one account to the other. You cannot go to a normal ATM or anything like that to deposit in these exchanges. You can, if you like, actually send them cash through the mail in some instances. But for the most part, people are going to just go down to their bank, pay $25, and wire money directly from one account to the other. Something like this usually takes 3 to 5 days. It can take as long as 2 weeks if there are other complications. Um, the essence of an exchange is that it will hold cash for you so that you can send cash in, sit on it, and at the time of your choosing, buy the crypto coin of your choice, and then sell at the time of your choosing back to cash, which the exchange itself holds. The difference to this is Coinbase, in that Coinbase does not hold cash for you. For the most part, they satisfy these same know your customer, anti-money laundering laws. and Coinbase actually owns an exchange. However, Coinbase itself, when linked to your bank account and does a non-wire transfer, this is the difference. When they're linked to your bank account, they're not holding cash for you. You're actually purchasing the coin, either Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, from them. These are a few minute differences, but it keeps Coinbase a little bit less than what you would think of it as an exchange. So once you have money in your exchange or in the account in your exchange, and you want to begin trading, um, over here on the right is some of the trading pairs that you might see available to you. You can trade usually US dollars directly for Bitcoin or whatever coin you choose to trade. But you can also trade from that coin into British pounds, Japanese yen, the euro. So there are the exchange allows you to go into other uh, foreign currencies, or the exchange allows you to trade for other coins, such as Litecoin. So you can go from US dollars to Bitcoin. You can get out of Bitcoin and go to Litecoin. You may not be able to trade from Litecoin to Monero, but you might trade from Litecoin to Bitcoin back to Monero and on, depending on which pairs are available in different exchanges. Some people choose the exchange they trade on based on the trading pairs available. So I spoke about Shapeshift a minute ago. What Shapeshift does is allow you to send from one currency to another. This is not a feature that exists on coins and coin networks themselves. What you're doing here is you are trusting that Shapeshift is going to receive your money and then, for a fee, send that money on to the wallet which you have told them. You, in general, you go to the website, you choose what money you're going to send, you choose what crypto coin you're going to send to, you give them an address for this other crypto coin. So you can, in essence, send money back to yourself. It's a way to buy different coins. This essentially sets up trading pairs for yourself. Or you can do transactions where you send Shapeshift one currency and they send the other currency on to a end receiver. The difference with Shapeshift as opposed to something like Coinbase or the other exchanges is they use no cash at all. They do not accept credit cards. The only thing that Shapeshift receives or deals in is crypto coins. And because there are so many coins, they can take a fee in trading these and sustain on that. So there is no need to ever actually have an account or deal with the Know Your Customer anti-money laundering laws, because nothing they touch is a foreign currency. So another one of the big markets that people talk about with cryptocurrency is the darknet markets. This is essentially where people are buying illicit drugs. Um, and I'll talk about three of the biggest that have been busted here, um, to kind of give you an idea of what people are using the crypto coins for. So the first, and which probably everybody knows, is the Silk Road. It was founded back in 2011, shut down in 2013. Russell Ulbricht was arrested in San Francisco. At the time, they seized 26,000 and then another cache of 140,000 bitcoins. Bit Silk Road was not the first, but it was most definitely the most popular, especially of 2011, 2012 of its time. When it was busted, it had around 14,000 listings on it. this year, in July of 2017, the largest darknet market of its time, Alphabay, was busted. Alphabay had 350,000 listings on it. So you can see how big these markets can get just in a few years. But to go over this quickly, there was a 26-year-old Canadian who was arrested in Thailand. They had 40,000 vendors listed on just this market. They seized 5 million in Bitcoin, 1.8 million in Ethereum, 760,000 in Zcash, and a particular quote, which some people in the Monero community really liked, was an unknown amount of Monero. And this is important because it illustrates the traceability of CryptoCoin and its use of privacy in obscuring those transactions if it's used properly. So in the Alphabay bust, the agencies actually took over the servers for about 30 days. What they did was take over the encryption keys that people used to communicate from buyer to seller. In any case where they used the website for these keys, law enforcement was able to use those keys to decrypt all the communication from the buyer and seller. If the buyer and seller used their own, then law enforcement still had the messages, but they didn't have the keys to decrypt those. So the operation to take down Alphabay was actually part of something called Operation Bayonet. It also included the takedown of what was the second biggest market of the time, named Hansa. Hansa was operated out of Germany by two men who were arrested in June of 2017. Hansa continued operating for about 2 weeks after Alphabay until late July 2017. About 1,800 vendors, but particularly what people found most interesting was that there was an 8x increase in users in the 2 weeks that Alphabay disappeared before people knew that it was actually taken over by the feds. So how do Darknet market, how do they use cryptocurrencies? So essentially a transaction would look something like this. A seller would have a profile and he would post his PGP keys. The buyer would use that key to contact the seller and have secure communications. A third-party escrow may be set up on that site, someone they trust who's a known profile on that market, to hold the cryptocurrency by. The buyer pays the escrow agent. The seller sends the package. Seller confirms receipt of the package with the escrow agent. The agent releases the funds to the seller. As I said before, one of the ways that the law enforcement agencies were able to get much more information than they could have was by poor OPSEC use by both users and vendors on these markets in handing over the keys or allowing the website to generate the keys to facilitate ease of use. It essentially led to people giving up the addresses, names, accounts of cryptocurrency, things like that in the transmissions.